and read for us, please. The whole page. Thank you.
Thank you once again for that a verse in Surah Al-Tariq, which is one of the chapters of the Qur'an. And the verse you read was verse 6 and 7 for our audience to hear what we are saying. Allah says in the Qur'an, خُلِقَ مِن مَّاءٍ دَافِقٍ يَخْرُجُ مِن بَيْنِ الصُّلْبِ وَالتَّرَائِبِ. Allah says He is created, meaning man, of course, is created from a drop emitted, proceeding from between the backbone and the ribs. Listen to the words. From between the backbone and the ribs. He is not telling you from the backbone. He is not telling you from the ribs. The word bayna, you know Arabic, is very significant in here. Now, since you have, of course, this opportunity to deal with about the creation of God, we would like to show you what in the world, in the 7th century, could determine what science has discovered these days about how a human being...
Okay, guys, hold that thought. Your 90 seconds is up there. Hold that thought.
I want to give him my time.
Go ahead, Chris, you have 90 seconds.
I want to give him my time as a gift to him because still he has to make a point, and I think it's his right to answer more. So I will give you my extra minute for you to answer me. Please go and read the explanation of Ibn Kathir. Don't tell me about science, please. Ibn Kathir is giving us the answer. Let us read first Ibn Kathir.
Ibn Kathir is only one of the interpreters. He's not the final reference. We have many other interpreters as well.
Right. And I thank you very much for you giving me your time. That means you are willing to learn tonight. Now, to proceed, Allah says, Bayna, and I was telling you, how do you want to avoid science as an intellectual? If you want to prove things today and nowadays, Qur'an has given you the opportunity on the 7th century to your ancestors to know what science could not even bring up at the very moment. But I'm telling you that what Qur'an is saying today was explained clearly and in detail by science, and you go and study embryology, you will see what Allah has said as is today what the scientists have brought up as an explanation. Now, for you and I who are not scientists, we will be very happy to read in between these words and understand that Allah, God, the way He created you and I, in a very sophisticated way, with the mixture of elements from our bodies, as He said, between the backbone and the ribs. Now your question was, what is coming from the backbone or from the ribs? And I corrected you, say it is not coming from the backbone or from the ribs. It is coming between the backbone and the ribs. Now then you correct your question. If you want to really understand, we proceed as Allah says, إِنَّهُ عَلَى رَجْعِهِ لَقَادِرٌ. Surely God is able to bring him back to life.
Okay, that's 90 seconds. Gonna have to cut you off there. That's 90 seconds.
Well, still, they don't want to read Ibn Kathir because Ibn Kathir. Okay. Thank you. Still, they don't want to read Ibn Kathir because Ibn Kathir will prove that this is a very huge mistake. If you go and open with me, it says clearly, as you said, you are saying from between, this is the point you are making, right? From between the ribs and the backbone. You know, why Allah, He did not say from between the toes and the nose? This is a huge area, you know. What is left between the backbone and the ribs? Now, I want to ask you, if you read with me, Ibn Kathir, he is saying that the fluid of the women, it's Gaussian fluid, it is light yellow texture. It is a yellow texture. This is your prophet explanation, and he's saying there, the back of the man and the ribs of the women is the fluid. is a yellow fine in texture, the child will not be born except from both of them. Now what is the yellow texture is coming from whatever place you want. Will make the baby created. The egg is not a yellow texture, and the egg is not a fluid. And what is your prophet describing, forgive us, guys, for using the language, it's simply when the women, she get, excited, there is a liquid. That liquid, this is what your prophet describing, and the proof, the color of the liquid. And he is saying it's coming from the ribs of the women. If you read with me, you will see it says that the ribs is exactly the chest place. Read with me. Between the backbone and the ribs, meaning the backbone or loins of the man and the ribs of the women, which is referring to her chest. I'm not the one saying that. So this is why I want you to read. But you are rejecting to read because you cannot, make it as something correct unless you ignore what your scholars and what your prophet himself is saying. So I want you please to read from, does it say really from the chest? Does it say which is referring to hair chest? I want you to read that word exactly. This is mean, it's not between. It is in that area, in the chest, the ribs. This is where that yellow texture is from for the women. Can you tell me what is that yellow texture of the women and what the ribs have to do with it? Mike is yours.
Thank you very much. First of all, scientifically speaking, the verse.
Let me jump in here for a minute before you answer that question. Just hold one moment. I got a little technical problem here. Okay, let me fix it. Okay. All right, go ahead.
Okay, I was saying, scientifically speaking, the verse means that, of course, the sexual organs are located between the backbone and the rib. And this was revealed in the 7th century. And science just could not talk about it because they were at not that level, because Prophet Muhammad came with a message that were beyond the level of science or anything that came from man. Now, you read that hadith you were talking about that Ibn Kathir is referring to, and I will tell to you to be sincere enough to accept the truth when it is mentioned. If you go to that same hadith in the books of fiqh, go to a book, since you are familiar with our books, then go to Bulugh al-Maram, which is a book of fiqh written by Al-Hafiz Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani, and you will see that hadith was also reported by Maymuna, the wife of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, radiyallahu anha wa radaha. This is how it goes. In that hadith, they were, when a woman is in her cycle, they cannot pray, they cannot fast, and you know that better, since I know you must have relatives as Muslims. Then, those women, sometimes they would see certain liquids coming out of them, and they wouldn't determine whether this is part of the blood of their cycle, so as to abstain from praying or fasting or anything like that. And Prophet Muhammad responded to her and said, go, and if you sit on a container full of water, and that liquid will drop in the water, if it has the color as safar, yellow, then you know it is not the blood of the cycle. Then you may continue to fast. Now, I haven't answered yet.
Let me jump in here, guys. Since you are on this discussion, I will jump in. And just before, Christian Prince, before you make your point, let me jump in here and say what you're talking about here, the formation of sperm. Here's an error. The verse says that it is the drop that is emitted from the chest area. It's not referring to the testicle that descends from the abdominal area, not the chest. Here's the problem here, and I want you all to answer this. One of you to answer this for me. By definition, a drop is a small quantity of liquid that is separated from a larger body of liquid. Gravity